Hey everybody, this is Brick City Brown Chick coming at you with my long form video this week, and it is, of course, about the American election. I put this post on Facebook yesterday and got quite a few surprised reactions, I will say. My Facebook page is private. Only the people I am friends with have access to my Facebook page. So it's not like I was getting messages from strangers. These are people I know. And some of them were very unhappy or upset with some of my takes. It is what it is. I'm sure there are going to be people who view this video who say, oh, it's just sour grapes. She's just one of those angry black women. Blah, 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 blah. Again, I don't care. This is me, and this is my opinion. And if you don't like it, don't subscribe to my page and don't be on my page because I will not deal with trolls. Period. At all. So here's my takes directly from Facebook. The first one is really a self-care message for Black women. Black women, we rose to the occasion in this election as we always do. And we fought as hard as we could for and with our sister. We believed the optimists who said this was not 2016, that Kamala Harris was not Hillary Clinton, and that America was indeed ready for its first female president. It was absolutely not ready. And I feel very strongly that it never will be ready. People do not want to see a woman with that level of power, never mind a woman of color. So Black women understand that we did our part and gave everything we have. We do that with everything, for everybody, whether people do that for us or not. And let's be very, very clear. People do not do that for us. So it is time that we stop doing it for everyone else. Whatever tragedy, nightmare, awful thing that happens over the next 4 years, if it doesn't happen to us, we need to not be involved and see just how well people get along without our money, our support, our blood, sweat, and tears. Because anytime any organization needs people to help them, to organize, to letter write, to march, to protest, they look to us. And we need to stop. Because America has made it clear it does not give a damn about us. And we need to stop giving a damn about it. And I'm dead serious. We, as Black women, have given too much to America, to white people, to Black men, to everyone. And when America had the opportunity to stand with us and stand for us, it did the exact opposite. So you know what? It's time for us to lay down our staffs and our righteousness and our power and say, figure it out yourselves, everybody. Because if it doesn't involve us, we are not going to be a part of it because we are done. That's just fact. The second message is also to Black women. I am not going to address the white women directly who voted for Trump. What I am going to say to Black women is the lesson you need to take away from this is that white women will never be our allies. Never. Do you know why? Because in this year's election, they voted for Trump in higher numbers than they did in 2016 and than they did in 2020. They are not our allies. They do not want to see us succeed and move forward. Possibly because they think we're going to move past them. But the honest to God truth that we need to accept as Black women is that white women will always prioritize their whiteness over the fact that they are women. And that's not a new phenomenon in America. White women did it during slavery when they were the women of the house. They did it during Reconstruction. They did it during Jim Crow. And they do it to this very day. So, Black women, I'm not saying you can't be friends with white women or hang out with them or whatever you want to do. Everybody makes their own choices. But just understand when push comes to shove, they are not your allies and will never be. America made it clear that it would much rather have an old, white, incompetent man running the country instead of a brilliant, phenomenal Black woman. That's an amazing thing to me. I'm 54 years old. I'm born and raised here. I've lived here my entire life. But I didn't really think this is the choice America would make. But this is the choice America made. And those of us who are not white, whether we voted for Trump or not, need to get real clear that our life, our liberty, and our pursuit of happiness is not on his list. And so we all need to make our plans and get clear about how we're going to move forward. Hillary Clinton in 2016 won the popular vote. Kamala Harris did not win the popular vote. And we all know why, whether people are willing to admit it or not. I will never, and I mean never, understand white people who can be so hateful and so nasty and still call themselves Christians. Do you understand what the word Christian means? It means Christ-like. If you'd actually read the New Testament, the part of the Bible that Jesus is in, you'd know that Jesus spent time with lepers and prostitutes. Jesus threw the money changers out of the temple. He did not invite them in and tell them to pull up a seat. So for you to claim that you are Christian and vote for a man who has never opened a Bible in his entire life and only held one for a photo op while he had his aides gas protesters is beyond my comprehension. The day after the election, I woke up to a wall of Facebook messages from very well-meaning people, but people who said things like, "Don't worry, it's gonna be okay. God's got us." And all I could think was, we put an awful lot of crazy responsibility on God when we should be taking the responsibility ourselves. God helps those who help themselves. And what we made clear on Tuesday is that we are not willing to help ourselves. So don't ask God to come in now and save us. Along those same lines, I got a bunch of messages that said, "We understand how disappointing this is, and we lost the battle, but the war still continues." My response to that is, why the hell is the war still going on? How long have we been a country? How long ago were Black people first dragged here? 1619, and it's 2024, and this is still happening. People are still actively voting for our demise. I don't want to hear that the war is still going on. Some of us are fucking tired of fighting the war. We are tired. And I don't want to be lectured about how much our ancestors went through. I'm much more aware than most people of what our ancestors went through. But at some point, you just want it to stop. And America's made clear that it's perfectly happy to keep running on the rails and over the backs of Black people. And I'm sick of it. People who have asked me why I'm so upset about what happened and that this is just politics, here's what I have to say. Take a long walk off a short cliff. You only have the agency and the ability to say that because you are white and because you think what is about to happen is not going to affect you. I have news for you. It will. So just spare me. The part that I find super fascinating about this election is that our side lost, but you're not going to see any of us storm the Capitol or beat up police officers or start an insurrection because that's not who we are. The other side got to do that. Some of them went to jail, but likely most of them will be released and have their records expunged because the person we just put back in office thinks they're martyrs. It's just incredible. My message to the people who won is rejoice and enjoy your moment. You are in the position to be blissfully ignorant and unaware that the shitstorm that's coming isn't just coming for people like me. It's coming for you too. But you get to be happy right now. We'll see where things go in the next year, 2, 3 years. My message to brown men, to Hispanic men who went for Trump by 11%, when the deportations and the family separations start happening, don't look for empathy or sympathy or solidarity from Black people. Just don't. To the Black men who voted for Donald Trump, you're fools. It's just that simple. And the last thing I am going to say about the 2024 election is America has not only survived, but thrived off racism, sexism, misogyny, and inequality. And what America proved in 2024 is that it is willing to be destroyed by those very same things. Lastly, I want to talk to the Democratic and progressive podcasters out there. I've seen a lot of you over the last couple of days share your disappointment, but also share your resolve to continuing to fight for the heart and soul of America. And I applaud all of you. I honestly do. And I think you're great. And I think what you're doing is important. But from my perspective, this country is no longer worth fighting for because it made itself clear that it will not fight for us. So why are we continuing to fight for it? If fighting for America is important to you and that's what you need to do and that's how you can get through this moment, Godspeed. God bless you. I am very glad you are here because we need you in the world. But we also need people like me in the world who know when enough is enough. And I'm going to let go of this and move on to other topics and move on to other ways to help people get through. Because our political power is going to be stripped away. And I am not going to go down the rabbit hole every week of watching it happen and bemoaning its demise. That is not good for me emotionally, mentally, any of it. So I am just going to let that go and leave that to people who are much more optimistic than I am about America's future. Thanks everyone for checking out this week's episode. I am very hopeful that next week will be better because I will not be talking about this. Thanks again. See you next week.